Okay, so our project will be on eating habits and self-esteem among California State University, Dominguez Hills Human Services students.
My name is Angel Munoz, and I am one of the researchers in this group.
My name is Brisa Wu.
My name is Isabel Suarez.
I'm Lisa Holmes.
And I'm Karina Bonaparte.
Okay. So we will be starting with the background. The issue in our study that we decided to further analyze was the correlation between self-esteem and eating habits among college students. Specifically, our survey participants consisted of CSUDH students who are currently enrolled in HUS 46041. Past researchers highlighted the importance of good nutrition to mitigate illnesses linked to obesity and enhance health quality in college students. In their article, Abu Awad, the adage, "A healthy body has a healthy mind," helped solidify the positive correlation between physical and mental well-being. Many individuals may be affected by this issue, but college students are at a higher risk, considering that they are going from an environment that they are used to into a whole completely new environment. Here is a continuation. We should continue to care for and study the correlation between self-esteem and eating habits in college students because more campuses need the proper resources to address the negative effects. University students are at a particularly high risk for the development of disordered eating behaviors, such as extreme dieting or fasting, binge eating, and purging. Eating is an emotional habit, and certain foods we eat will make us feel guilty, while other foods make us feel better about ourselves because they are healthy. We have studied, we have found a gap in the literature. Our study fills a gap in the literature because the age of college students being studied is typically in the range of 18 to 24. Past research has found a positive correlation between high self-esteem and healthy eating habits, but the age range has been limited. According to Meet Your Class, 31% of CSUDH undergraduate students fall into the 25 plus age range, and 2% are under 18, resulting in the student age diversity being higher than average. It is important to study CSUDH students because the large age range shifts the focus from traditional college students and broadens the scope. Students across different ages represent different stages in life and various life experiences.
Our study asks, does eating habits have any influence on self-esteem? We hypothesize that eating habits are related to self-esteem. In this study, eating habits are the independent variable, the factor we expect to influence outcomes. Self-esteem is the dependent variable, the outcome we are measuring. With this hypothesis defined, I'll now explain the methods we use to measure these variables. We use the cross-sectional survey design, meaning data was collected at one point in time. Eating habits were measured with two survey questions developed by our professor using a 5-point ordinal frequency scale, ranging from very unhealthy to very healthy, with the neutral midpoint. For example, one item asks, during a typical school week, how would you describe your eating habits? Self-esteem was measured with two questions adapted from Rosenberg's framework, using a 5-point Likert type scale from strongly disagree to strongly agree, also with the neutral midpoint. For example, one item was, I feel like I am a person of work. These measurement approaches follow Faulkner and Faulkner, Faulkner's guidance on survey design and Rosenberg's classic self-esteem scale. Next, I'll explain how we tested our hypothesis. We began by summarizing the data. Eating habits were described using frequencies, and self-esteem was summarized with means. To examine the relationship between the two variables, we used the Pearson correlation. This analytical plan allowed us to test whether healthier eating habits are associated with higher self-esteem. Thank you.
All right, so let's go over our results. So our results conducted of 28 students, and they were separated into three categories. The first one was gender, race, and age. I'm gonna go over gender first. So in total, we had 28. So we had 24 female and 4 male. And for race, we had 21 Hispanics slash Latinos. And then at the bottom of that, we had 5 African Americans, and then we had 1 white, and we had 1 mixed. And for the age, you had 19 students from the age range from 20 to 30. Then after that, we had 4 students who were in the age range of 31 and 40. And then lastly, we had 5 students between the age ranges of 41 and 60. So first we ran histograms to see were our results very averaged. So on the left will be our independent variable, and the question for our independent variable was during a school week, how would you describe your eating habits? So this would be the independent variable of eating habits. So on an average, the student scored like a 2.8, and then to our right was our dependent variable, which was I feel like I'm a person of worth. And on average, we scored like a 1.7. So there is some like similarity in between the numbers right there, just like a 1 point difference. And then moving forward, we conducted a two-tailed correlation test. And we found that there was a positive correlation as we scored like a 0.405, which is really close to the indication of a 0.50, which correlates to a very strong correlation, but we had a positive one. And then to our right, we had a dot plot. As you can see, there are some like dots that are very close to each other. And then overall, like the interpretation of our data does correlate that there is a correlation of eating habits and self-esteem. And as you can see, the number was 0.405, which was very close to 0.05. And then lastly, we could really say that there was a correlation because whenever a student had good eating habits, their self-esteem was ranked really high, which was positive. And then when a student had poor eating habits, their self-esteem was ranked low, which is negative.
And then to continue for our discussion, we said that yes, our results from our research in eating habits and self-esteem, which is self-worthy, we agree that it is positive due to college students being identified. The strengths from what we conducted is on how having good self-esteem will result positive and having low eating habits will result negative. Therefore, in past research, there has been a positive correlation between eating habits and self-esteem, which means the age range was limited, which the age range must have been from 18 to 22 years of age. But in our research, we consisted from the youngest age of 20 and the highest, which is 55, in our HUS for 60. And to continue, a way this defines research gaps is by focusing in one group, which was our research class 460, females and males from the age of 20 to 55 years of age, according to our field. Some factors that could cause eating habits and affecting college students' self-esteem is stress level, dietary, behavioral, social environment, and individual cognition. Therefore, each student has their own life experience, so it all depends on how each age represents it. Self-worth, the limitations and strengths are on how Practicing the research will allow us to know how much negative self-concepts can a college student go through during their academic career. Our findings would suggest each college student to have a stronger self-worth that could lead them to a positive health behavior.
In conclusion, our research showed clear patterns between eating habits and self-esteem among the 28 CSUDH students in our 460-41 research class sample. We found that higher self-esteem was often linked to healthier eating behaviors, highlighting how closely psychological well-being and daily health connect, especially when factors like body image, emotional regulation, and societal pressures come into play. These results suggest that programs and interventions on college campuses should address self-esteem and healthy eating together rather than treating them as separate issues. Moving forward, our findings can help inform schools, communities, and organizations in developing more integrative support, and future research can continue exploring these patterns with larger and more diverse student groups. And here are our references. And this will conclude our presentation.